Go. Perfect. Amazing. Oh, Bernice, you're here too. Amazing. Hello. How are you? Libby is from Pennsylvania. Fantastic. Must be a little bit warmer where you are than it is here where I am in Newfoundland. It's cold today. Here today, it is freezing actually. We had apparently snow in the central part of the island, and that's kind of far away from where I live. It's not snowing here. It's only about 6 degrees, but it's cooler than it has been the past few days. I'm excited to get summer in full swing. All right, guys. So let me know who's here. Say hello in the chat. Hey, Bernice, I'm glad you're well. That's amazing. Share your name. Let us know where you're from. Talk about what your biggest struggle is, right? What gut issues have made you come to this webinar today? Tell me what your biggest challenges are. What's got you super frustrated with your gut health? What are you looking to change? Pop it in the chat and we can get started. Barrie, Ontario. Yes, my old stomping grounds. That's where I used to live actually before I went to naturopathic medical school, because naturopathic school was in Toronto and I moved to Ontario with the boy that I was dating at the time, and he was living in Barrie. So we lived in Barrie that first year that I was in school, but I loved it. Bernice, weight getting out of control. Yep, that's very common. That is a common thing that we experience when our digestion is not optimized, right? Yeah, we're going to be getting into all that good stuff. For sure, we're going to be getting into that stuff. All right, well, it's time. It's time to officially get started, everybody. So welcome to the 5 ways that I achieve freedom from gas, bloating, indigestion, and weight gain without taking meds, going on a diet, or giving up the foods that I love Masterclass. I am so glad that you're here, and I do not take it lightly that you committed to spending roughly the next 90 minutes with me. As I mentioned, this is a very interactive training. We're going to have a conversation together. So make sure you keep that chat box open on your screen and, answer the questions I have for you, comment, engage. Let's get this to be a good 2-way conversation. Hi, Wendy. How are you? So glad to have you here. Let us know where you're from, what your biggest challenges are. And we're going to get going. We're going to dive into the 5 ways that I achieve freedom from gas, bloating, indigestion, and weight gain without taking meds, going on a diet, or giving up the foods that I love. So you are here because you want to know how to fix your gas, bloating, digestive issues, and your weight gain, and plus all the other, symptoms that come along with that. Not just the digestive symptoms, but the energy and the weight and the fatigue and all the other things that come with it. The mental symptoms, right? Depression and anxiety are in that umbrella. Brain fog, lack of motivation, mental confusion. These are all related to digestive functions. So it's super important today that you block out all of your distractions, right? Give this time back to yourself. Put your phone in another room, close all the tabs on your computer, put a do not disturb sign on the door if you have to, right? It's really rare these days that we can give anything our undivided attention, but you're here for a reason. And I want to make sure that you're able to focus on this training. Wendy from BC, amazing, great, welcome. And on that note, I have a special gift for you. Everybody likes getting presents, right? So everything I'm going to share with you today is equally important, and it's critical to banishing your embarrassing digestive symptoms that you stay until the end of the webinar so you can get the full picture and all of those tips that I'm going to share. Oh, Bernice loves presents. Perfect. You're in the right place. So basically, I'm going to bribe you, right? Close to the end of the webinar, I'm going to post a link in the chat where you can get your instant access to the Gut Healing Program meal plan, which is a 6-day meal plan with recipes, shopping list, and prep guide all included. This program gives the gut a break from common irritants like grains and legumes, and it incorporates gut-loving nutrients like collagen and glutamine, for example. I've also added lots of fermented foods to help replenish the gut with the good gut bacteria. And it has a $200 value. So it's definitely in your best interest to stay until the end. So let me know in the comments, ladies, who's staying. Type your staying if you're committed until staying until the end for your present. Amazing. Staying me. Okay, perfect. Good to know. So here is my promise to you today. By the end of this training, I'm going to show you how to shift from being a prisoner to your embarrassing digestive symptoms like gas and bloating, indigestion, weight gain, all those things, to knowing exactly how to get rid of them for good so you can take back control of your body, look and feel your best, and get back to your life. Does that sound good? Specifically, you're going to discover why what you've been doing for years to stop these issues doesn't work. And instead, I'm going to walk you through what does. Imagine being able to skip over all of those Googles, the midnight Googles that you do, the trial and the error, and just do what works. I know when I learned the steps that I'm going to share, it changed my life. And it certainly changed my clients' lives. And I know that it can change yours too. So type yes in the chat if this sounds good to you. Totally committed? Amazing. Excellent. Yes, wonderful. Great to hear. Good to hear. Fantastic, ladies. So before we dive any further, let me know if you can relate to any of this. Are you tired of trying random supplements that you've heard help the digestive system, but they never do? Are you fed up with giving up all your favorite foods or going on the latest difficult and restrictive fad diet in the hopes that it will end your tummy troubles or help you shed some weight, but it never works? Are you guzzling Pepto-Bismol, popping Tums, Imodium, taking laxatives or Gas-X? Are you sick of white knuckling it through cravings? Are you unsure of how to get a handle on all of your digestive issues or even your weight so you can put an end to all of the struggling once and for all? Do you feel like you are on an emotional roller coaster as you go from motivated and hopeful to frustrated, disappointed, and filled with shame? Can you relate to any of these? Let me know in the comments, right? Like, what do you relate to? What are those things that really, really are struggles for you? Let me know if you can relate to anything. The emotional roller coaster, yes. Yeah, that's a big one, right? Because you keep trying things, you get disappointed, you get frustrated, you lose faith in yourself. I hate that. Constipation, 100%. That's a big one too. That bowel irregularity, when your gut's not working, all the things become affected, right? So if you're nodding your head, yes, in agreement to any of these points, I promise I am not a stalker watching you, and you are not alone. I have done all of those things, plus lots more. The cravings, gas, and tummy pain, yes. I promise that whatever it is you're doing and it's not working, it's not your fault. There is so much information out there, and it's nearly impossible to sort through it all. Women like us, who are high achievers, who've been raising small humans for years, maybe they're big humans now. You might be at the height of your career, or you may have responsibilities at home. Women who are caregivers, women who have been putting themselves last for years. It is almost impossible to do it all and not have our bodies begin to protest. But doing it all is really who we are, right? It's really hard to know how to balance everything, how to live the way we live without sacrificing our health. And our lives have purpose and meanings. The cost is high, but the rewards of our life are also great. But when we can't live our life fully anymore, it's just not possible to carry on as we have, right? Something has to change. And if you feel anything like I did back then, I would have done just about anything to get rid of my symptoms and get back to living, except nothing seemed to work. Realizing that we need to treat the real underlying issues with our digestive system, not just mask those symptoms. That's the way to get to true digestive freedom. So what I'm about to share with you is the fastest and simplest way to wake up every day with more energy, feeling great and ready to live life to the fullest. To stop relying on over-the-counter meds to manage your symptoms. You'll be able to put on that little black dress or that pencil skirt or whatever it is that you dream of wearing and get out and enjoy life. You'll be able to stop dieting, stop giving up the foods you love, and stop skipping meals to keep your symptoms at bay. You'll finally feel like you're in control of your body and not the other way around. So tell me in the comments which scenario is the one that you really want, right? Which one best describes why you showed up today? Is it the energy? Is it, giving up all the pills, being able to wear what you want, maybe giving up the diets or the restrictive eating, stopping having to skip meals? I remember having to do that. Tell me what it is that really, really got you here today. And before we go any further, I would like to formally introduce myself. Hello, I'm Andrea O'Callaghan. I am a registered holistic nutritionist, and I'm the founder of the Ultimate Digestive Freedom Formula. I have over 20 years of experience, and I have a background in naturopathic medicine. I have a practice in a wellness center here where I live in St. John's, Newfoundland, Canada. I support high achieving women who suffer from digestive difficulties like gas, bloating, indigestion, weight gain, all of the things, lots more. I help them basically deal with their digestive issues so they can be free of all their embarrassing moments, right? They can look and feel amazing and live the full life that they want without having to do the diets, giving up foods, or take medications. So all of the above, right? We want to get rid of the restriction of diets and the lack of energy. Oh, yes, for sure, 100%. Also, a little bit about me. I am a divorced mom of 3 kids. My kids are now 12, 14, and 16. And, my gut health is great today. My energy is good. I feel great, but every now and then, little digestive disturbances will crop up again, right? Especially if I have a lot of stress in my life or I get sick or something happens, maybe a trip has allowed me to pick up a bug. Whatever it is, if those struggles come back to me, only a fraction of what they used to be, mind you, but if they ever do return, I have the tools today now to handle it and get back into the stream of life the way I want to. So I hate this slide, but that was me. That was me 11 years ago when I was like literally a prisoner to all of my embarrassing symptoms of poor digestion. And it really came from a terrible diet and lifestyle. A lot of it, when I was a child and growing up, my digestive problems were really present for as long as I can remember, right? I grew up eating a lot of sugar and processed foods. And I also had a lot of unresolved issues from my childhood that had never really been addressed, right? So by the time I got to where I was in this picture, my skin was a mess. I was bloated, gassy, constipated, constantly uncomfortable. At the end of the day, couldn't zip up the pants. That was definitely something I remember. I'd actually even gotten to the point where leggings were all that I wanted to wear, right? But what you can't see in this picture are the intense cravings that I would get for sugar, right? And you also can't see the self-hate and the shame that I felt. I was also exhausted. I was unmotivated. I was really sick and tired of dragging myself through activities with my kids, right? And, saying no to friends and family because I really had nothing left to give or the desire to socialize. And being an absent partner in my marriage was a piece of that also. Yeah, you can relate. For sure, right? Also, at one point in the past, at that time, I had dreams of furthering my career, but that was not even a remote possibility with how I was feeling at that time. I had no idea how my past and my present were contributing to this unhealthy state, right? That high intensity and the pressure of naturopathic medical school, then having 3 kids pretty close together, right? They're less than 2 years apart, each one, like less than 4 years apart for the 3 of them. I had marital issues, unexpressed emotions, and just the stresses of a demanding life had really left my body in a mess. And I had no idea how to fix it. So I remember the night that I finally saw the truth. I was lying on the couch alone, using ice cream, my favorite way to console myself. My husband was out, and my friends haven't even called to invite me to join them because they were just used to me saying no at that point. I saw what my life had become, and it actually scared me. What scared me more, though, was what it was going to become if something didn't change. I had tried many times by myself to get a handle on my health, right? I tried diets, I tried supplements, other more natural methods, all the things that I had learned in school. All the while, though, I was still guzzling Pepto-Bismol and chewing Gas-X to give me some relief from those symptoms. But nothing ever worked. I knew I had to be missing something, but I really didn't know what. So let me know, does anybody else feel like that? Tell me in the comments, if you're struggling with the same thing or maybe something similar. I am sure I'm not the only one who was doing more harm than good. So there I was, right? Feeling ashamed, alone, and hopeless. I was scared of what was going to happen if things didn't change. I couldn't see a happy future for myself or for my kids. And I just had that, like at that moment, I just said, that's it, no more. I would no longer live like this. Exactly. Yes. You guys can agree. Hey, you guys can relate. I know. So that moment, I decided I was going to have to figure out how to put an end to my poor health. And it didn't matter how long it took me or what I had to do. But being honest with myself at last, I knew I truly didn't know how. I had tried over and over again, and it just didn't work. Nothing ever worked. If I was going to be able to do it on my own, I would have already done it by now, right? I knew I had to be missing something. So I reached out to a friend of mine who was really into nutrition, something that I was always really interested in too. And I got the name of a practitioner who she trusted and she, used to go to see. So that was really the step that started my journey to wellness. That got me to where I am today, here with you, sharing my methodology with you, with my clients, so that you can skip over the years of trial and error and all the struggle that I went through. Just so you can get a handle on that gas and the bloating and all the other digestive issues that are taking away your quality of life. And that decision that day led me to figuring out that what I'd been doing for all of those years was almost completely wrong. And I'm so grateful that I made that decision to get help and to invest in myself and in my health, right? Because if I hadn't, I would probably be still trying, over the counter meds to manage the symptoms and trying this restrictive diet and that restrictive diet, and even not eating and not getting anywhere. So, like Maya Angelou says, when you know better, you do better. So even though I'm now able to live the life I always pictured for myself without diets or meds, it did take me years to figure it all out. What I remember is that I had to unlearn everything that I thought was the right thing to do with foods and supplements, because I quickly discovered how wrong these things were the way I was using them, right? Like I knew about certain supplements being helpful and definitely certain foods being helpful. But I was mostly using them to manage my symptoms, not to treat that root cause and to get at real healing. So I did tons of research. I had to test out different approaches to see which ones worked for me and my body. Some things worked, some things did not, right? I saw many different types of practitioners along the way for guidance, and that included therapists and counselors. I did all different types of work and I did a lot of struggling, but my health slowly began to improve as I learned. Tired of the abdominal pain and discomfort. Yes, it is so exhausting when you're battling this for such a long time. It just wears you out, right? I can completely relate to that. Yeah, for sure. Mental health and physical health go hand in hand, 100%. That is so true. So shortly after my journey into natural health had begun, my dentist actually noticed a lump in my neck during a checkup. I actually posted a story of her on a picture of her on my story a couple of weeks ago because I went in to see her. She's an amazing dentist, by the way. She used to do, regular checkups, head and neck before the dental exam itself. And so she found this lump in my neck, right? And she said, well, you better get it checked out, just to be safe. So of course I did. And nobody was more surprised than me when it turned out to be thyroid cancer. So this type of cancer, luckily, is slow growing. And it had probably begun a few years before she even found the lump. And it's really impossible, of course, to determine with complete certainty. But I do know that my poor gut health, as the root cause of most of the things in the body, was such a major piece of this puzzle, right? I had surgery, but I did decline the optional radiation because I really put faith in my body's ability to heal and come back, right? Balance out from this condition. But this crisis really only served to solidify my commitment to my own health and well-being. It really did. I stayed on my path, learning about all things wellness, and I finally decided to go back to school and study holistic nutrition, right? I had done naturopathic medicine years before, but you touch on the modalities, nutrition being one of them, but I wanted to go deeper into nutrition and I wanted to see how food could really be all the medicine, right? So holistic nutrition was a modality that I found that really contained all the elements that were working on me on my road back to health. I specialized in digestive health, and I finally got to the place where healing could really, really occur. My gut issues resolved, and here I am with you today. So today I have my freedom, right? Freedom from the gas, bloating, indigestion, bowel irregularity, all of those things. Freedom from the brain fog, the fatigue, the anxiety, and the depression. Freedom from the yoga pants, which was a good one. Freedom from the restricted diets, the skipping meals, freedom from depending on over-the-counter meds to reduce my symptoms. This picture is a trip from last fall. I am going to be 47 this year, and I've never felt so good, and that is the truth, right? Now I have the freedom to wear a bikini on the beach with a little bit of confidence. to wear what I want without worrying how it will feel or how I will look. I feel good in my body today. But more importantly than that, I feel good in my mind, in my spirit. No more self loathing and shame. I can pick up the phone when friends call and I can go out and enjoy a meal with them. I am really free. And I'm also now more than 10 years cancer free. So, this journey into health and my freedom is really what motivated me to help other women to make radical changes in their digestive health, before they end up with bigger problems like I did. Gaining back control over my body took a lot of time and patience, and there was no way I could have created my gut health program, the Ultimate Digestive Freedom Formula, without having invested in my professional education and becoming an expert in digestive health. The freedom that I gained pushed me forward to really help others find it too. And that's why I love this quote that I have up. It really resonates with me, right? The purpose of freedom is to create it for others. I had that too, in addition to breast cancer. Oh, wow, Ruth, cool. Yeah, that's why I'm trying to get rid of bad gut bacteria. Yes, 100%, right? Because the everything else that goes in the body has roots in the gut function, 100%. Good for you. Good for you. Yes, it is a reason to celebrate. Yes, Bernice, 100%. I agree. I try not to take it for granted now, 100%. But the real point of all of this is that I was really fully committed to figuring it out. My own personal freedom was intimately connected to my physical health, as you guys completely relate by what you're telling me, right? And I was not going to go back to my old ways, and I was not planning on having any more serious illnesses. So, what I discovered through all of the trial and error was that, it wasn't that I had weak willpower. It wasn't that I wasn't strong enough to say no to junk food. I learned that it wasn't that I was too lazy to make healthy lifestyle choices or to think about every single thing I put in my mouth or to exercise enough. I discovered that none of these things were the answer. I figured out that I, in fact, had poor digestive system function, that created a nervous system dysregulation, gave me imbalanced hormones, and it gave me a microbiome imbalance too. So once I started to address the gut function and its microbiome, my nervous system, my hormones, all of that, everything balanced out and everything changed for me. And I want to share how I did all of that with you so that you can skip over the years of wasted time and trial and error too. Because there really is a simpler way to get rid of your gas and bloating, your indigestion, your weight gain, all the other symptoms without going on a diet, taking meds, or giving up all the foods you love. So pop it in the chat. Do you want a simpler way of doing things? Yes or no? Yep. That's a pretty heck yes. That's right. For sure. I'm all about keeping it simple and straightforward, right? But before we dive into those 3 secrets that you need to kind of understand to get results, I want to share a short case study with you because it's really important that you see examples of what real success looks like so that you can kind of ground yourself in knowing that this is really possible for you too, right? So this is Vanessa. She really stands out to me. That's why I'm using her as my first case here. She came to see me with gas, bloating, extra weight that she really couldn't keep off. And she had a constant battle with really big sugar cravings, right? Vanessa was a mom. She had a really demanding career and a really busy life, but it was all being heavily impacted by her gut issues. She couldn't keep up with her pace of life anymore. For her, what was really big was she was losing her confidence at work, right? She was becoming extremely self-conscious when she had to get up in front of her colleagues, which was a huge part of her work, right? A big part of her career. She didn't feel comfortable wearing her normal work clothes anymore, and she hid behind what she liked to call tent blouses. She had never dressed this way at work before, and it was getting worse and worse, and her confidence was just crumbling. Her brain fog and her anxiety were getting more and more unbearable as well. And she would take Gas X every day, hoping that it might decrease her bloating for some extent to the day. So she had tried lots of different diets, right? She did Weight Watchers, she did paleo, she did keto. She was now skipping meals if she had a work presentation or she had to go out anywhere nice. And she struggled daily with a losing battle against sugar. So she told me that she thought about sweets all day, every day. And when she inevitably gave in to those incessant cravings, she suffered terribly from the guilt and shame. Nothing she tried helped. And she wasn't going to drop the weight if she couldn't stay away from the sugar, right? So once she understood that her microbiome had an imbalance and that, the pathogenic microbes had sort of taken over the good ones, she saw that diets weren't going to help. And she finally got to get off that diet merry-go-round. She learned the way to rebalance her microbiome so that her cravings wouldn't take over anymore. And then she could get a handle on her sugar consumption. So once she did these things and gave herself a bit of time to heal, the gas and bloating subsided. The weight began to come off. Her mental clarity returned, and she finally got to get back into the driver's seat of her life. So after Vanessa applied the principles from the Ultimate Digestive Freedom Formula, she experienced the relief from her cravings that she had been waiting for. She finally banished the gas and bloating once and for all. Her anxiety and her brain fog cleared, like I said, and she began to win that battle against the weight gain that she could never shape before. She got to pull out all those nice clothes from the back of her closet that hadn't seen the light of day in a long time. And now she gets up in front of her colleagues at work, feeling comfortable, feeling confident in the outfits of her choice. Her life is her own again. So now imagine that you too could get rid of your gas, bloating, digestive disturbances, and extra weight. You could feel confident, energized, and alive. You could gain control over your health so that you're no longer limited by your symptoms and have the clarity, energy, and motivation to create the life you've always imagined for yourself. So let me know in the comments, type me if this is what you would love to achieve. Yep, all the me's, exclamation points and everything. Fantastic. I love it. That's amazing. So now we're going to get into the real gold of this training, the 3 secrets that will really teach you how to get the change that you desire, to get the results that you want, to banish the embarrassing symptoms so you can look great, feel amazing, and live the life you want. These secrets are, number 1, the real reason why what you've been doing isn't working. Number 2, the truth about the misconceptions that you have about your symptoms. And number 3, what you really need to do to finally take back control of your body. So let's dive in. So this is the first secret, the real reason why the things you've been doing are not working. This is the meat and potatoes, guys. This is the stuff that I love, right? So up to today, you've looked at your problems like this. Gas and bloating are my problems, so I got to deal with them, right? Or indigestion, that's my problem, so I have to get rid of that. Or extra weight's my issue. So if I can get the weight off, then my problem is solved, right? So on and so on and so on. But those things are only symptoms. So if you keep patching the symptoms, they will keep reappearing because the cause of the symptom remains. It's like patching a tire, but continuing to drive over broken glass. If you don't get rid of the glass, you're going to keep getting holes in your tire, no matter how many times you patch it, right? If you don't understand the reasons for your issues, then you won't be able to address their cause. And if you don't address the root cause of the gut issues, you will continue to get gas, bloating, indigestion, weight gain, and all the other symptoms that you're struggling with. That's what we want to get down to here today, that root cause of your problem. Then you have the real route to freedom that you're looking for. So let's learn about the root cause, okay? We're going to look at some different examples of the common ways we've tried to symptom patch and why they don't work. Okay, so one thing I know that you're doing that's not working is taking over-the-counter meds to control your symptoms, right? Things like Tums, Pepto-Bismol, Imodium, Gas-X, laxatives, and lots more, right? They just serve to cover up those symptoms. So I want to go through a couple of them because the way they work is something important for you to know, right? To understand this concept of root cause. So let's start with antacids. Basically, Tums and other antacids serve to reduce the acid that contributes to heartburn, right? So less acid should mean less indigestion, correct? It does to a certain extent in the short term, right? It will bring down the stomach levels of acid, but stomach acid is really necessary. That's why our stomach makes it, right? It's completely necessary to have proper digestion. So the body ends up getting this signal as the acid levels drop to produce more acid. which causes more heartburn, right? And heartburn can be caused by different things, but essentially the root cause is the contents of the stomach rise up into the esophagus because the stomach isn't working the right way. The heartburn is the symptom, not the cause. The stomach function needs to be addressed to get rid of the heartburn. Digestive dysfunction is the root cause of your symptoms, right? And I'll let you in on a little secret here too. In most cases, heartburn is really caused in part by too little stomach acid, not too much, right? Most people think it's because they're too acidic, they have heartburn. In reality, like 97% of all, acid reflux is because you don't have enough stomach acid. I'll explain. The body needs a sufficient acid level in the stomach to kind of receive the signal that causes the top of the stomach to close up properly. It's a muscle sphincter at the very top of the stomach, right? So when the acid is low, the stomach remains open. It's not getting a strong signal to close, and the contents rise up into the esophagus because of this improper closing of the stomach. And heartburn is the result, right? So when antacids lower the acid levels even further, it is in 100% contributing to the cause of your heartburn. The acid is not strong enough. The signal is not strong enough. The stomach doesn't close properly, right? So really, you don't want to be decreasing stomach acid levels. It might patch the symptom for a bit, but it's actually contributing to the problem, right? On a prescription for GERD, yeah, for sure. A lot of women who come to see me are already taking prescription medications to manage those symptoms. And a lot of the women who've gone through this program have. We're going to come back to that specific point actually as well. So I also here want to mention one other factor in gut health, which is the microbiome, right? Love the microbiome, talk about it all the time. If you've been in my world for any amount of time, I'm sure you've heard me mention it. Your microbiome essentially though is all the organisms and including bacteria, right, that live in the digestive tract and actually in the entire body, but we're focusing on the gut microbiome here. And it really lays the foundation for your health. There are literally trillions of microorganisms in your gut alone. So when you have an imbalance in these organisms, it can lead to huge health disturbances, right? It can lead to weight gain, poor immune function, indigestion, depression and anxiety, many more. The list is endless. So back to the Tums and the stomach acid, right? Your stomach acid is designed to help you break down the food that you eat, but it also functions to kill off pathogenic microbes that can enter into the digestive system, which can really mess up the balance of that microbiome. So when the microbiome becomes imbalanced with too many pathogens, we call that dysbiosis. So antacids, and especially long-term use of them, weaken digestion and contribute to dysbiosis. This includes prescription medication and not just over the counter, right? As we were just talking about. So they weaken the digestion and that contributes to dysbiosis, right? The very thing that you're taking to control your symptoms is actually making them worse in the long run. Another example, Gas-X, right? That works by helping you pass the gas that you do have more easily. It allows temporary relief from the gas and bloating. But again, these are only the symptoms of poor digestion and dysbiosis. Getting rid of the gas that you do have does not mean it's not going to return. It doesn't mean your body's not going to keep making more, right? You have not addressed the root cause of the gas, which is poor digestion and dysbiosis. So it's just more symptom patching. Imodium for diarrhea, laxatives for constipation, right? Those types of medications, they also work by symptom patching. They really work against the balance that your body is really struggling to achieve and appears in your life as the symptoms that you're trying to suppress, right? So you want to not be working against the body, right? That just weakens the systems of the body. That weakens the whole body really as they mute that effort that it's making at reestablishing a balance in the gut. So these meds only serve to suppress or cover up your symptoms, and they do not address that root cause of gut issues, which is digestive dysfunction and dysbiosis. I'll be saying it lots. So your symptoms keep coming back, right? And they end up contributing to the problem, which just equals more symptoms. Yeah, you found out meds are not working, not helping, sorry, and makes it worse by not fixing. Exactly. That is exactly it. Makes it worse by not fixing the problem. 100%, Laura. That is totally right, right? That is one of those big, big, big obstacles to getting well, for sure. Remember Vanessa, the case study that I just mentioned to you, the gas, bloating, weight gain, and all the sugar cravings, right? Popping meds was a real key strategy that she was using, but it never worked for long. And it kept on returning those symptoms, right? They kept coming back until she really got to the root, fixed her digestion, and rebalanced that microbiome. Now, another thing that we're doing that's not working, and a way we have tried to symptom patch, is randomly buying supplements and taking natural remedies, right? Now, I'm in natural medicine. I'm a big believer in supplements and natural remedies. I use those before anything else, obviously, but it's depending on how you use it, right? If you want to use it to work with that balance of the body versus taking something that you think will neutralize the symptom, you can use a natural remedy in an allopathic way, right? Allopathic medicine is what we think of as today's modern medicine. You can use natural medicine, but you can use it allopathically if you're not using it to really treat that root cause, right? There are so many pills and supplements out there that claim to be miracle workers for the gut, right? And navigating through the health claims of products and all the evidence that they have can be really confusing and overwhelming. So while sorry guys, while dietary supplements can support your health, this does not mean that all of them are right for you, given your health or your medical history. Many supplements can, interact with your medications or conditions that you have, or even allergies that you have, right? And unfortunately, the true fact is that none of them are going to be a miracle cure. Those things don't exist, right? Yeah, learning more about taking natural remedies properly, exactly. Like that's the kind of work that we definitely do, 100%. And without knowing also about your own deficiencies, right? Deficiencies that you have and what your system really needs on an individual basis, then using a supplement is literally just a shotgun approach, and it can be a real waste of money. Supplements only work when indicated and when they are used as a complement, not as the primary means, right? A complement to, a lifestyle program that really addresses that root cause. And also they should be taken on the advice of a professional. A lot of people think because they're natural, they can't do any harm. Supplements are medicines as well, and they can affect the body and they can do harm. So always take supplements on the advice of a professional. A great example here is probiotic supplements. I love this one because I relate to this one big time, right? So y'all know probiotics. I did a really good Facebook Live about it a couple of weeks back, and it's in the group if you're interested in checking that out. But probiotics are essentially capsules of friendly bacteria which are naturally found in the microbiome, right? So it doesn't do any good to go on a probiotic if you're still doing the things that are killing off the gut bacteria, right? That are causing your problem in the first place. So without understanding that there are many bad habits that we all have that are detrimental to those gut bacteria, things like not enough sleep or eating processed foods, lots of different examples, right, of things that, can kill off that microbiome. So if you're doing those things, but you're taking the microbiome, you're just wasting money. Taking the probiotic, you're just wasting money on those probiotics that are becoming, completely obsolete. As soon as you take them, they are being destroyed by those lifestyle practices that you're still engaging in, right? And the reason I love this example is because that was me, right? I heard about probiotics years ago when they first became popular, right? This was 15 years ago when I was still struggling with my gut issues and hadn't got to that place yet where I was really ready to dig in and say no more, So I heard about probiotics. There was this brand new product coming out on the market. And I thought, oh my God, there it is, right? There's my magic bullet. That's the missing piece that I've been looking for. Now, I wasn't completely wrong, right? Because there was a microbiome issue. So the probiotics, in the sense, could have been the answer. But you know what? The answer was not to be found in a pill. I took the probiotics really expecting a miracle, but all the while I was drinking chlorinated tap water, right? Chlorine is added to our water supply to kill any bad bugs that are in there, right? But it also kills the good bugs in us when we drink it. I was also eating total crap, a lot of crap at the time. I was not sleeping enough. And I was definitely not actively managing the stress of my life. So every microbe that I ingested was doomed. And after taking the probiotic for a few months with no improvement, I was devastated that I had come up against another brick wall. So now I know I have to have the threats to my microbiome from my environment under control before I can even make probiotics useful to me. And one last point, all supplements are a waste of money if there are issues with your digestion. If you cannot break it down, right? If you cannot absorb it, then why bother taking it? You need to address that root cause of digestive function to make supplements actually useful. So any of you guys relate to this one? Have you gone out and spent $1 or $2 here or there on a supplement, just to take it home and soon become discouraged when you didn't see results? Or maybe you got it home and it ended up in that supplement graveyard, right? Up in the cupboard. I have a supplement graveyard. even today, I still get, the shiny object syndrome where I see this cool new supplement I want to try, right? Let me know what kind of supplements you've bought. Pop it in the chat. And you'll see, that you guys are not alone, that you guys all have tried the same things I used to try. All right. Let me know what kind of supplements you guys have been trying. I'll move on to the next one now. Another super common strategy that we use to control our gut symptoms that is just not working is trying to stay away from those foods that are actually giving us symptoms, right? Many people have bloating and pain in response to foods, things like wheat and dairy, even vegetables, right? Like broccoli, cabbage, onions, things like beans. How about pain after pizza? Anybody get that? I remember that one. The list goes on, right? Let me know what you've tried to stay away from because it gives you symptoms. Pop it in the chat. What types of foods do you guys, find difficult? Bread, dairy, pizza, ice cream, pasta, even veggies. Yeah, let's see now what I've got back here. Yeah, bread and milk, tomatoes. No wheat, rye, barley for me. Yes, yeah. Celiac is different. Celiac, yeah, for sure. You can't have any of that stuff. 100%. Well, for me, I remember, now I'm not celiac, but I remember never being able to eat bread, right? Or pasta when I went to restaurants. Because if I did, I would literally blow up like a balloon moments after I ate any type of bread or carb, right? It was so humiliating. Forget about going to the bathroom, right? I didn't even want to get up and show people what was happening to me. I prefer to kind of hide my bloated belly under the table. Can anyone relate with that one? No matter what the food was that we stayed away from, we've stayed away from it because we believe that changing what we eat will stop the symptoms and the discomfort, right? This assumes that food is the cause of the tummy troubles we've had. But if I got news for you, it is not the food's fault. Yes, you heard me. Unlike popular opinion, food is not really the culprit behind our tummy troubles. Yes, some foods do create symptoms, but why? Is it because we are not digesting them properly, right? Digestive function is the cause. Wearing larger clothes to hide your stomach. Yes, Bernice. Oh, yes, 100%. So there are many types of digestive system dysfunctioning. Examples include, you may have a problem with how the gut mixes and moves the food along, right? That's motility. You may not be producing enough enzymes that breaks that food down. You may have gut inflammation so that the lining cannot absorb your food properly. Or you may be lacking specific microbes needed to digest a certain type of food. Now, celiac, yes, Wendy, that's different. Celiac is a change, in the receptors on the cells of the stomach, and you do have a true allergy. That's a different thing than having a sensitivity, right? So just know for you, it is the food's fault in that one specific condition. But when we're talking about food reactivity in a general way, this is what I'm trying to talk about here, right? So a great example to show you what I mean about that is like if you don't have a specific strain of lactobacillus and bifidobacterium, right? These are two strains found in a healthy microbiome. But if you don't have these strains, then you won't be able to digest dairy, right? These types of bacteria have a special bacterial lactase enzyme, which means it can break down lactic, right? It can break down the lactase in milk. It allows the microbiome to digest and use the lactose in the dairy products. So if they're not in you, then you cannot break down milk properly. You eat the dairy, and then you get the twisting, cramps, and the bloating. We ourselves, without our microbiome, we don't make any lactase. We cannot digest dairy, right? We need our microbiome to do it for us. So, this is how we've evolved over the years, right? We've evolved this symbiotic, meaning mutually beneficial relationship with our microbiome to include these strains so that we can make use of the dairy in our environment as a food source, right? It's an evolutionary thing. So when you are lactose intolerant, it really just means you have dysbiosis. That's not the food's fault, right? If you can fix your microbiome, you can eat the dairy without symptoms. Fix the digestion and eat the food, right? So I have another case here that I wanted to share with you. This is Nicole. And before she joined my program, she suffered terribly from gas and bloating. And she was like me, right? I really related to her in the way she showed up with her symptoms, because she was like instantly aggravated by bread, pasta, pizza, all of that kind of food. She had to be really careful of what she ate, or she would soon be bloated and in considerable gut twisting pain. And what else was she going to do? Right? Eating bread causes the gas, the bloating, the pain. So, don't eat the bread, right? But it wasn't always that easy. I mean, for Nicole, many nights her friends would get together for pizza and bowling, and she never wanted to miss it. She couldn't eat the pizza, but if she ever tried to, then she paid for it, right? Dinner parties, she felt awkward asking the host if the meal was made with any wheat or gluten. So she would hope for the best, or she would try to avoid what she thought may cause an issue, but not always successfully. Then the embarrassing symptoms in front of all of her friends would happen, right? And she would feel humiliated, and she would wonder why she couldn't be normal like everybody else seemed to be. So after she came to see me, Nicole changed from seeing the food as the cause to seeing her gut health and the microbiome as the cause. So then she learned how to fix her gut so that her digestion actually worked the way it was supposed to. She also fixed her dysbiosis, and in time, with a specific method, she gradually brought wheat back into her diet, and she can now eat it with no aggravations, right? She can go for pizza and bowling. She can have that freedom to eat out at friends' houses or at restaurants without having to play detective or err on the side of caution. And for Nicole, it's not just about being able to eat wheat, right? It's about, now she has regained control over her body. She's gotten rid of the bloating, the gas, and the twisting pains that really overshadowed her life. Libby says, sounds simple. Well, it's not easy, but it really is simple. It really is clear cut, as long as you can get down to that root cause and begin to address all of the things that are impacting it, right? So it gets to be fairly simple in a certain sense, right? Now, it's not to say there's not many factors that come into it, because there are. And oftentimes, depending on your history, there can be lots of different factors, but it really can be kept pretty simple. Yeah, definitely like that. Amazing. Another example of how we've tried to symptom patch is going on different diets in the hopes that one of them is going to be that magic bullet that we're looking for to end our embarrassing symptoms and to drop a few pounds, of course, right? You may have tried one of the fad diets that are popular right now. Everybody's heard of keto, right? Keto is everywhere you look at the moment. I can't even go into Costco without seeing keto this and keto that, right? All over the shelves. But keto is a strict and difficult way to maintain your eating, and it is definitely not without risk, right? Traditional keto only allows for 5% carbs, and this actually does major damage to your gut microbiome. Keto really has very little fiber, and fiber is super essential for the microbiome, for healthy bowel movements, and especially for supporting the removal of excess estrogen from the body, right? Too much estrogen worsens your menopause symptoms. I have so many women coming to me in the menopause, perimenopause age who, have had real problems with their symptoms and their gut issues becoming more pronounced as well during that time. So, the keto diet can cause things like low blood pressure. It can contribute to kidney stones, definitely to constipation, that fiber piece we talked about, to nutrient deficiencies, and even an increased risk of heart disease. Staying on keto for any length of time has a negative effect on your hormone balance too. Strict diets like keto, they can also cause things like social isolation or even disordered eating. And it is definitely not safe for people with any conditions of their pancreas, liver, thyroid, or their gallbladder. And 100%, it is definitely not intended for the long term. True weight loss can only be maintained when our gut function is optimized, our hormones are balanced, and the microbiome is healthy, right? So, we talked about keto, but then there's paleo, and then there's Atkins, macrobiotic, South Beach diet, the zone diet. There's a million of them, right? All of them negatively affect the balance in the body. Yep, we have some ladies with us today here in menopause. Yes, me too, I must say. I can't wait till it's all over. I won't lie. I do not mind being in menopause as long as I don't start getting those symptoms, I tell you. We'll see how she goes, but so far so good. So when it comes to the diets, then there's also the calorie counting diets and the point-based diets, right? Like Weight Watchers. The new one out there now is Noom, right? These are some examples of that. So when you're counting your calories, you're essentially restricting them, right? And restricting calories can harm your health in so many ways. It can lower your metabolism, which is not what you want to do if you want to get rid of weight. You actually want to boost your metabolism, right? It can cause fatigue. It could create nutrient deficiencies, which really contribute to cravings, right? When your body is like missing something and it starts to crave food. It can weaken your bones. It can lower your immunity. And it can also really wreck that relationship with your body, right? It puts us in this restrictive diet mentality, which really means that you lose touch with your hunger cues. So, you might fixate on a number rather than on nutrition, which is really where you want to be focusing. You may develop like an unhealthy preoccupation with food. You can definitely have mood swings and irritability, and it is really dangerous for the mental health as well as the physical. So using points to determine what you eat does not take into account what it is that you are eating, only the point value of a food. So you aren't looking at the quality of the food at all. You could be eating lots of things and harming your gut and your microbiome and worsen your symptoms. And these types of diets may actually provide a bit of short-term weight loss, but who wants that, right? Weight loss can really only be maintained in the long term when your gut function is optimized and the microbiome is healthy. So restrictive diets are also really difficult to stick to. And when you can't stick to a diet, then you've got those thoughts of worthlessness and shame and guilt being repeatedly reinforced. Let me know if you guys can relate to that, right? That restrictive diet mentality. Have any of you guys tried the calorie counting, right? My metabolism is more of an issue. I eat whatever I want, but it stays with me. Yeah. So when you have metabolism things going on, that's going to be really related to hormone levels too, right? And so that's when, when you optimize the gut function, the hormones have that opportunity to balance out, right? I have one more common example of how we really try to patch our symptoms of poor gut health, and that is not eating at certain times or skipping meals entirely, regardless of whether or not we are hungry, right? Frustrated with the yo-yo dieting. Oh, 100%. Yes. Yeah. Most people are, by the time they try a few things, super frustrating, right? So has anyone out there skipped anything, skipped any meals, skipped any regular eating times, right? Like lunch or maybe even dinner. So you can put on, the little black dress or, so they can put on a nice outfit for work, or even less dramatically, so they can just keep their pants zipped up by the end of the day, right? Pop it in the chat. I know I definitely skipped lots of meals when I wanted to stay, smooth, right? Yeah. Don't eat, skip breakfast all the time. Yeah. So skipping meals or not eating at all is not a healthy or safe way to manage your tummy troubles, right? When you miss meals or ignore your hunger signals, you have many possible negative consequences. The biggest one, right? You get over hungry and then you end up overeating, because really our bodies are just programmed to survive, right? And also when you get over hungry, that is when you're more likely to make unhealthy choices, right? The food that you crave is usually quick and easy. Skipping meals also causes the body to lower its metabolism, right? That's the worst part of this, which means, you burn less energy and you gain weight when you go back to eating the usual amount of food. It also leaves you feeling sluggish and tired. It causes headaches. It makes you feel weak and shaky because your blood sugar balance becomes affected. Blood sugar imbalances are actually a contributing factor to dysbiosis, which is really important to know, because blood sugar spikes and crashes kind of create these environments that really support the pathogenic microbes. So skipping meals to avoid the symptoms does nothing to address the root cause, which is poor gut function with the dysbiosis, right? So the symptoms are going to come back anyway. Missing meals or not eating to prevent symptoms is a band-aid solution. And we want root cause solutions to end those problems for good. Never go grocery shopping when you're hungry. 100%. Bernice, I completely agree with that. Bad choices are in the making then, right? So quick recap, right? What we've seen with all of those things that we have done that are not working to get rid of our embarrassing tummy troubles is that we have been patching the symptoms, right? Those digestive symptoms of gas, bloating, indigestion, constipation, and all the rest. They cannot be fixed if you don't understand the root cause, right? And that is that, underlying set of conditions that really is creating it all, right? We've seen the root cause, generally speaking, is poor gut function and dysbiosis. So to get rid of the symptoms, we have to quit trying to just cover them up and get down to that business of fixing your digestion and your microbiome. So you may wonder, just how did this root cause even really come to be, right? So there's really so many factors that can negatively impact our guts. But the most common examples include improper eating practices like, incomplete chewing, eating too fast, having weight issues, drinking with meals, structural issues in the stomach, enzyme problems, gut motility issues, gut lining disease that compromises how you absorb the nutrients, right? Different nutrient deficiencies all in the body, and all factors really that affect the balance of the gut microbiome. And there are lots of those. The big ones would be food choices, water quality, medication use, stress, sleep, movement, different types of exercise, emotions, and the environment. Even too intense exercise can cause dysbiosis because of the inflammation it creates in the body. So there are so many things that we don't realize are really impacting that huge population inside of us, right? So the good news is that once you learn what the gut and the microbiome truly need, then you can begin to address the root cause of the problems and, finally begin to fix them once and for all. It's good news. So that brings us to the second secret. So this secret is that the misconceptions you have about you and your gut health, right? These incorrect beliefs and the lies that you're telling yourself that are holding you back from achieving the results you so deeply want, because you get caught up in them, maybe without even knowing it, right? So we're going to break down these misconceptions, and don't forget, I once had these same thoughts too. Then we're going to kind of reframe them with the correct beliefs and behaviors so that you can understand how to get the results that you're after. So, misconception 1, I have to give up the foods that I love and eat only salads or only vegan or, complicated health foods that I am not familiar with. That's what a lot of people think when they take this journey into wellness, right? And many of us don't look too seriously at a lifestyle change because we feel like we're going to have to give up the foods that we really love, right? And it's going to take a lot of willpower, and we don't even really want to because, well, we love these foods, right? We don't want to give them up. We see ourselves trying to eat this complicated health foods diet, rabbit food. It's difficult. We don't know how. We don't even know what we're doing. We've never even heard of half of these health foods. We certainly don't know how to cook any of them, but we feel, most importantly, we feel deprived, right? We want to have our bread and our pasta and our cheese. We want to be able to have a treat now and then. Who wants to be deprived, right? How are we supposed to rely on willpower to stick to all of this anyway? It just seems too much to even begin. So we just don't. We put it off and we put it off and we put it off for a better time. So this is a real common misconception, right? If a food makes your symptoms worse, then of course you're going to have to assume that you got to give it up, right? But don't blame yourself for thinking it because it's actually logical. But as you have just learned, it's not the food's fault, right? Remember my client, Nicole, the one who couldn't go out for pizza and bowling with her friends, right? She felt like she was weak and that she was a failure. She had no willpower. all of those feelings made her digestive symptoms feel even worse, right? So now that she knows how to treat that root cause and support her digestion and microbiome, she has gotten rid of the symptoms she used to get. And now she can treat herself to that piece of pizza on her weekly bowling night with no guilt, no shame, and no pain, right? Now, when we were working on her gut, she wasn't eating pizza the whole way through, right? She did have to stop eating those foods to allow for healing, right? The offending foods were causing her symptoms, and we had to treat that root cause. And then once she got better and stronger, her bandwidth increased for being able to take these foods back into her diet. Now, if she ate pizza every day, I don't think it would take too long before her symptoms would be back because the root cause would have returned, right, in response to these foods. But what I'm telling you is that when you finally get true healing, then you are able to indulge in these foods that initially you couldn't mess around with. You're able to bring them back on that whatever basis is comfortable for you, right? For me, it was ice cream. Couldn't do ice cream a bite and I'd be cramping and twisting and farting and doing all the things, right? All the gross things. But today I can go out and have an ice cream cone, and it doesn't give me any symptoms. I always say it makes me a bit stuffed up because of the sugar, because I don't really have processed sugar in my diet anymore, right? So I notice that, but I get no gut symptoms. But now I'm not having ice cream every day over the summer kind of thing. I have one every now and then, maybe every week or every couple of weeks. But if I started to bring back ice cream every day, of course my symptoms were going to come back because I'm contributing to that root cause again, right? So I hope that kind of makes it clear for you what I'm trying to get at here. Let me know. I'm going to show you how to get to that root cause, right? Get to the root cause of gut dysfunction and dysbiosis so that you can tolerate those favorite foods of yours, even those ones that aggravate your symptoms now, right? No complicated health food diet, I promise. Does that sound good? Type yes in the chat if you think that sounds good. And I'm going to get into the second misconception, right? So the second misconception, the only way to get rid of my symptoms are to take prescription meds for the rest of my life. Yes, everybody's saying yes, amazing. Okay, great. So this misconception, the only way is going to be these prescriptions for the rest of my life, right? This is the message that we've all gotten repeatedly. You have a health problem? Take the pill that's made for the problem, right? We go to the doctor with a complaint, he writes us a prescription. We turn on the TV, then the answer to the health problem is given to us in a drug ad. We have been told the covering up of symptoms is the answer to that symptom, and we've been told it our whole lives. So accepting this idea isn't something that you've probably even questioned before. That is completely understandable, right? Do you guys know what I'm getting at here? Do you feel like you've gotten that message from media and from, society, right? Drugs are the answer to any of your medical problems. If you've got heartburn, you need a pill for it, type yes in the chat if that's something that you feel like has been, the message you've gotten pretty well your whole life. If you've thought until now that the only way to get rid of your symptoms are to take prescription meds, you can now let go of this common misconception. Because if you apply my method, right, if you get to fix the true cause, then there will be no more need to take medications to cover them up anymore. And the pills are hard on the stomach. Yes, they are, right? The very thing that you're trying to fix end up getting affected negatively by the pills, right? 100%. Yeah. Excellent. Okay, so here's another misconception. I am too busy to spend 12 weeks on a program for my problem. Okay, guys, we are busy women. Yes, right? Let me tell you, I get it. I am busy as well. We have families that we're responsible for. We have jobs, we have bills to pay, things to get done all the time, homes to look after. We're slightly health conscious, so we got to try to get our sleep. We want to try to eat well. We have to try to exercise. There are so many things every day pulling us in a million different directions, right? Let me know. Anybody relate to that? Are you busy? If you are, type busy AF in the comments and I will know exactly what you mean. But isn't it true that when we're suffering from poor gut health, we are not at our best, right? Our energy isn't optimal. Our focus isn't optimal. We have no concentration. We have low motivation. Yep, everybody's saying busy, busy, busy AF. Amazing. Times 300. I hear you, sister. Me too. Me too, for sure. And isn't it true that if we felt better, right, if we had more energy and more motivation, then those things that are competing for our attention every day might not be as hard to do, right? Like if we felt better, maybe we'd be able to do these things and not feel so pulled, right? So the cool thing about this program is that it can be done from home during any free time. There's only one module per week. I'm all about keeping it simple and straightforward, right? There's one area covered every week. Clear, easy to follow directions are given to you each week. Its principles surround the parts of your life that you're doing anyway, right? Eating, sleeping, moving your body, all the things. So you just apply it to the life you already have. It is not there to turn your life upside down, to make everything brand new and difficult and complicated, right? And I'm also there with you every step of the way, walking you through what it is that you need to do. You don't have to think, right? You don't have to come up with this on your own. I am supporting you every step of the way. I help you with a plan so you actually have more time to devote to your life. Plus, this is the big one, ladies. If you don't invest in your health right now, your symptoms will for sure get worse and worse, right? And your issues will get bigger and bigger. Then your energy, your motivation, and your ability to be busy and live your life won't be there at all. Deal with it now when you have choices, or you are going to be forced to stop everything later when you can't ignore it anymore. Trust me, that's exactly what happened to me. And I literally thank God today that I managed to get my health back on track after that cancer diagnosis, for myself as well, but for my kids, for my family. Definitely grateful for that. Okay, I'm done with the suffering and want it fixed so bad. Amen to that, Laura. 100%. Yep, that's great. All right, so misconception 4, it is going to be too hard to stick to a plan because, I travel, or I love to go out and be social, or I have a ton of work commitments, right? I cannot stick to some sort of a plan. Okay, this is a misconception, not true. Many of us travel, right? Many of us travel for work or for pleasure. Things are finally back to normal. The world is back to normal again, pretty much. We like to go out to eat. We want to go to the movies and have some popcorn, or we have tons of stuff at work, things to go, meetings and dinners and whatever. Who doesn't, right? A whole new schedule or a regimented plan is not going to work in a fluid, changing life, right? Wrong. This is not what this program is, right? This is a real common misconception, and it can be ditched for you right here, right? I show you exactly how to get the results that you want, even if you're traveling, right? Even if you're social or you have a ton of work commitments. I have a woman who just finished my program. Her name was Shelly, and she was planning on going down south to Mexico for 2 months. And so she said, well, I'm going to start your program when I get back because I'm going to be going, down south. It's going to be sort of like an all-inclusive environment. It's going to be a long time, and I won't be able to go on any kind of a program until I get back. And I said, stop right there. I said, that's amazing. You can completely do it while you're there, and it'll actually be easier for you, right? Because you have access to all the foods. You don't have to cook yourself. It's a perfect example of why this program can work anytime, anywhere, and you don't have to change your life. It will fit in for you, whatever you find yourself, whatever situation you're in right now, right? It uses the principles inside the program to fit into your life the way it is today, right? Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to maintain it indefinitely. And that's one of the key pieces here. You have to learn a way to live that it goes on forever, not just when your head is down and you're focusing on this difficult new plan, right? So once you've addressed the root issues, and you learn how to live in this way that keeps your gut working properly, you just continue on, right? You continue to travel and be social and, meet your work commitments from a new place, a place of health and strength, right? It's not sticking to a plan, but it's learning a program for living that you can take with you always and everywhere. Pretty good. All right, misconception 5. I should be prioritizing other investments. My health is really not so bad. Okay, listen, prioritizing yourself is important. You are worth it. You are deserving, right? How are you going to be of service to others, to your work, to your family, to your friends, to the world, if you're not healthy and whole, right? And if you don't make an investment now into your health, your troubles will get worse and your healthcare costs will get larger. I can guarantee it, right? And also, if you don't do anything now, those health troubles will become less and less reversible. Such is the case for chronic conditions like gut issues, right? When your problems become less and less reversible, then your options also become less and less. There's fewer and fewer things that you can actually do to change what's going on, right? The way I like to kind of think of it is this: you're not paying for it at this moment. Does that make sense, right? You just haven't really gotten the bill for it yet. I hope you know what I'm getting at. Let me know if that resonates, right? Let me know if it resonates with you. So, in addition to our misconceptions, there are a few little lies that we tell to ourselves that keep us from looking at the problem that's in front of us honestly. These lies really keep us stuck in the problem. So, one of these lies is, this is normal. Everyone experiences digestive issues once in a while. Mine are just a little bit more frequent. That's all. And I was definitely guilty of this head in the sand mentality for quite a long time, right? But it got me no closer to putting an end to my gas, bloating, and indigestion. Thinking it is normal to not function normally is really just a form of denial. You can't address something you refuse to acknowledge, right? Why should you settle for feeling unwell? Why should you allow poor health to sabotage your life? Until you see that you have a problem that is really impacting your life, then you will continue to be a prisoner to it. So, if you're here today to find a way to end all of those embarrassing symptoms, I feel like your days stuck in denial are really over, right? Otherwise, you wouldn't even be here. Would you agree? Type hell yes in the chat if you are done with denial. So, yep, amazing. Good, good, good. Fabulous. So another lie that we tell ourselves is, it'll go away eventually, right? Have you ever said this to yourself, hoping that your tummy troubles were just going to go away on their own, right? Oh, yes, I definitely have, right? So how long has this been going on for you? Let me know in the chat, right? Has this been going on for you, more than a month, more than 3 months, more than 6 months? And has it gone away on its own yet? Has anything gotten worse, right? So these are things that you want to ask yourself, right? Imagine a year. No, definitely gotten worse. Yeah, for sure, right? So imagine, for example, this is a good one. Someone with super high cholesterol, hoping it's going to go away on its own without knowing how to address it, right? So they have the high cholesterol, but eventually it progresses into hardened arteries, and then finally they get the heart attack, right? They will definitely tell you it just didn't go away on its own. The denial just allowed the problem to continue and progress until it's something so big that you cannot ignore it anymore, right? And do you need a huge health crisis like mine to make you see that these things just don't go away, right? I knew that I had problems with my gut. My symptoms had made that loud and clear to me, but I was literally waiting for the day that the problem would just go away and I'd feel better. But while I waited, things were getting worse inside of me that I couldn't see, right? Gut health is so important because it has such an impact on the whole body, right? A healthy gut contributes to your immune system, heart health, brain health, mood, sleep, in addition to the things that you assume it does, like digestion. Gut health is related to the progression of cancer and autoimmune diseases. So waiting for things to go away on their own is really just giving up our power over our own bodies. The time has come for us to take control back over our own health, right? Long time, over a year. Yeah. Just told yourself it's something I have to live with. Well, I am telling you, it is not something you have to live with. Trust me on that, right? Here's one final lie that I wanted to put out there as well that we commonly tell ourselves that really keeps us from looking at the problem honestly, right? I'm just not feeling well, right? Life is so busy right now. I'm stressed to the max. When things calm down, I'll go back to normal. I don't know about you, but things never really calm down, right? Life seems to be just one thing after another. And yes, stress is a huge factor in gut issues, but the stress never really goes away. We just need to learn how to cope with it properly. Plus, stress causes physical changes in our gut and our microbiome that really just do not resolve on its own, right? So waiting for stress to be gone is a really dangerous gamble because it's extremely unlikely that it will be ever completely absent. Stress is an external event, right? But our reaction to it is an internal event. So that external stress, it's out of our control. But how we respond to it internally is completely 100% within our control to change. So it's better to improve your wellness and your stress response so that you can function properly despite of external stressors, right? We can't just sit around and wait for something totally out of our control to hopefully change when it is our life on the line. And we are all busy, right? Better to be healthy and strong and able to keep up. That's what I say. If you don't address your health issues, something is going to give, and that will most likely be you. So, learning active stress management is one of those big components that we do inside the Ultimate Digestive Freedom Factor, because stress is a really key contributing factor to those gut issues, right? So, that's why this is a big piece of the program. One more quick case study for you. Just related to all these misconceptions and the lies we tell ourselves, right? Makes me want to share this one. This is Alicia. She came to see me for help with GERD, which is gastroesophageal reflux disease, or the clinical presentation of heartburn, for those of you who may not be familiar. So Alicia was an amazing, intelligent, really highly ambitious woman. She had a top position in a large local company here. This woman literally could rule the world. I am convinced. She was just such a go-getter. But when she came to see me, she was on sick leave from her job because her GERD had progressed to the point of bleeding ulcers, and she now had a condition called Barrett's esophagus. So this is when the cells lining the throat are showing early signs of cancer. It's like a precancerous condition, right? Changes in that cell layer. So now she was being forced to stop work completely and deal with those health consequences, right? So she had been diagnosed with GERD after going to her doctor for really bad heartburn about 4 years before she came to see me. So he put her on an acid reducing medication. He told her to try to eat better, reduce her stress. Alicia did her best, but her extremely competitive and high stress job, which she adored, by the way, it always took priority over making more of an effort to look any deeper into those stomach problems. She told me that she'd been putting off the eating bit and the stress bit until she had a bit more time. And that her plan was, up until then, push through for a couple of months until her contract that she was, her big contract was over. And then things were going to calm down. And then she was going to start looking after herself a bit better, and her symptoms would be able to go away, right? That was her kind of game plan. So she came to see me, having some serious issues, right? She kind of, learned about what was root cause, all the things we've been talking about so far. She figured out how to get a handle on the acid reflux to, through the route of allowing that gut to truly heal from the years of damage that it had gone through. And she could really see how ignoring that problem and putting off facing what was going on was not the best choice she could have made for her health. She ended up having no choice but to put her career on hold, because her health had deteriorated to the point where she couldn't work anymore, right? So her career was affected by her denial of the problem and her misconception that the medication was actually fixing it, right? And her problems were definitely worse than just the heartburn at the point she finally chose to face them and get control of them, right? Luckily, within a few months of learning and all the action steps that she put in place inside the program, she could really begin to reverse the changes that were occurring in her digestive system. So today, she's back at work, right? She's off the medication and she is functioning at the level that she always pictured herself at, right? So I don't know if that kind of resonates with anybody out there, but that's a really great case to show you about how it can impact your life, right? And how something that started out as a simple symptom progressed into something that actually impacted all the areas of her life, right? And it was, it took her longer to heal that than if she had started when things began. That makes sense, right? Hard to get doctors to listen. Glad that I'm here today. Oh, Ruth, I'm so glad you're here today too. Yes. And it's not that doctors don't want to listen, although some of them couldn't be bothered. But I always say this, allopathic doctors are amazing for acute conditions. You break your arm, you have a heart attack, right? Go to your doctor. That's what they're there for. But when you have a chronic long-term condition like a digestive issue, that's not their specialty, right? They don't go into healing and root cause. They do symptom patching, and that's okay when it's something acute, but when it's chronic, patching the symptoms are not going to be the answer, right? So The reason you guys showed up here today is because you want relief from embarrassing digestive symptoms like the gas, the pain, the indigestion, the bloating, the weight gain, the fatigue, and from all those mental symptoms like brain fog, lack of motivation, and anxiety, right? So now is the time that I'm going to show you what I discovered that actually does work. This is the third and final secret, that discovery that I made that changed everything, right? Once I learned how, I did achieve freedom from gas, bloating, and indigestion without taking meds, going on a diet, or giving up the foods that I love, right? So are you ready to hear about how? You have stuck with me so far, and I do thank you for that. So let's get into it. I'm trying to not burn through too fast, but I'm trying to keep my pace up so I don't take too long, right? Because I know it can be long. Let's go. Right on, Bernice. All right. So at the beginning of the training, I shared with you my story, which began my long struggle with gas and bloating and all the symptoms. I had tried all the things, right? I had skipped meals and gave up food and over-the-counter meds and all the things. But overall, basically, I was an expert in what not to do, right? And then I shared with you that I ended up having to face a cancer diagnosis just as I was starting to get into the wellness, right? Just as I was starting to like take control. So that was where my gut troubles really took me, right? Nothing I had tried before worked, and things had definitely gotten worse. So the biggest part of my then new wellness education, as we went over in the first secret, was that I had to find and address that root cause of my health issues, right? Otherwise, I was continually patching symptoms. So I think you guys have got root cause, right? I feel like root cause is in the brain. Is that true? If you guys feel like you completely get that idea of the root cause versus the symptom, pop got it in the chat, please. Just want to make sure because it's super important to figure out. Okay, amazing. Wonderful. Fantastic. All right. Excellent. So the thing that I need to figure out next was how, right? How to get rid of the symptoms after that root cause had been determined. So I discovered you really need this method, right? You need like a step-by-step plan that addresses that root cause so that you can stop doing all of the things that don't work as well as those things that are contributing to the problem, right? Then you can just focus on the key elements that do work. So I learned many things related to the gut, to nutrition, to wellness, all the things, right? Some of them helped me, but some didn't, right? So I studied. I learned all about the gut and the microbiome, all the different factors that, impact it. And I got support and help from many different types of professionals and practitioners and healers along the way. So after finally mastering my own health and using what I learned with all of the women who've come to see me since in my practice, I got to put it all together, right? I streamlined the process into a method that encompasses all the pieces that go into the creation of a healthy, well-functioning digestive system. So having this step-by-step method is really key because it's user-friendly and it provides that clear path that's easy to follow to get to your results. I spent years working on my health, right? Like trial and error, successes and failures, you've heard it all. But looking back, I realized how much simpler it could have been if I had had a roadmap to follow, right? To get me to that destination that I was going for. Trying to figure it out on my own in a piecemeal sort of fashion was a real challenge. So this was a real struggle that led me to holistic nutrition, because holistic nutrition really did include all of the elements, body, mind, and spirit, that make up whole person health. It was really a guiding light in the creation of my method, right? And this method is the 5 ways to achieve freedom from gas, bloating, indigestion, and weight gain without taking meds, going on a diet, or giving up the foods you love. The name of the training that you're here for. So to put it clearly, I discovered that in order to get rid of digestive problems and dysbiosis, I needed 5 things. Number 1, I needed to find out the root cause. We've done that. Number 2, I needed a step-by-step plan that taught me what to do, how to do it, and why I had to do it. Number 3, to holistically address body, mind, and spirit through nutrition, sleep, stress, and exercise, and even emotional work. Number 4, I needed to have a trusted, respected professional that I could ask questions to and get support from, right? I couldn't just be, experimenting on my own. And number 5, I had to have accountability and a sense of community, not be alone, right? So let's look exactly at how this method works and how it produces those symptoms that you want, right? To take control over your body and get rid of the symptoms for good so you can look and feel your best. I decided to call this method the Ultimate Digestive Freedom Formula. I would love to get some feedback on that name, by the way, guys, because I really liked it, but I don't know. Maybe it sounds stupid, but it really meant something to me, right? Once I decided to fix my gut and get rid of my symptoms, what I really felt was freedom, like seriously, right? I was free of having to pop the Tums and the Gas X and the Imodium. I was free of having to guzzle Pepto-Bismol every time I felt pain, right? You love it. Oh, thank you. I don't know. Well, even if you're just trying to be nice, I don't care. I'll take it because I like the name. And I'm not going to change it at this stage, right? Freedom is a big piece for me, like free to go out with my friends and family, for dinners and to restaurants and to, family events, things like that. Free to wear the clothes that I had really pushed to the back of the closet in the hopes that maybe one day I'd wear them again, right? But really, I was free from having to feel those feelings. Free from the feelings of fatigue and frustration and anxiety, the shame, the self-loathing, all of that stuff I was free from. And that really made me feel the freest, right? That voice in my head, I just gained the freedom to live life the way I had always imagined, right? So this formula covers all of the elements needed to make up a strong, well-functioning digestive system and microbiome. So does that sound like something that you guys would be interested in? Would think so, hey? So the Ultimate Digestive Freedom Formula is laid out in a series of easy to apply, simple steps that naturally build upon each other to improve your health and facilitate your understanding of what caused the problems with your gut in the first place. No more trial and error, right? Taking little pieces of ideas that work for other people and trying out, how to figure out how to apply them to your own lifestyle. Just clear-cut directions that are simple to follow. As you go through the steps, you begin to feel better immediately so that your energy and motivation increase as you go. This formula addresses all the areas of your life that impact your health. This is the individualized, holistic view that takes into consideration you as a whole person, not just your gut, right? It addresses that body, mind, and spirit interrelationship. We know that these parts of ourselves are all connected, right? How our thoughts influence our actions, how our feelings, affect our bodies. Just think about stomach ulcers and stress. It's classic, right? That's proof. There's such a connection between our thoughts and our feelings and our bodies, right? It includes things like nutrition, sleep, stress, movement, emotional health, all of those elements that influence how we feel and function. This methodology also includes a full coaching element, right? This is like the gold standard of the program. You get access to me via weekly coaching calls so that you can ask questions or get suggestions on the areas we are covering. It does no good to be given a step-by-step, plan, but then be left on your own to go get through it all, right? You need to have access to professionals so that you can have that support to figure out the answers to the questions that you're inevitably going to come across as you learn to apply those principles in your own life. And we're all individuals, so we all have our own unique struggles and challenges that we have to be sure are addressed. So that's what I'm here for. The weekly coaching calls are put in place so that you can get that personalized, individualized guidance that you definitely need to have, right? The calls are also a really great place to address any mindset struggles that could be part of the reason why you haven't been able to get there on your own before, right? Coaching sort of provides that support, the guidance, motivation, and nurturing that are really required to get you back on your feet and take control of your health and your life. Beyond the weekly coaching element, I also have office hours 7 days a week so that you always have access to me for any needs that arise during your time in the program. And the Ultimate Digestive Freedom Formula also includes a private Facebook community group that you have total access to during your time in the program. So it's here that you're giving that accountability that you need to have for success, right? You get to share your experience via prompts from me to post on your accomplishments and your strategies. And I'm always getting you to keep me updated on your progress every week. See how you're doing, see how you're moving along, right? As well, you gain an entire community of women who are on the same journey as you are. This is invaluable. You, along with this amazing community of like-minded, strong women, go through the journey together. We're really stronger together. And this is just a key element of why this program is so successful, right? Sharing your journey with others like you allows you to grow together, you learn from each other, and you really hold each other up along the way. One of the pitfalls of suffering from gut issues is that we often suffer alone, right? I just picture myself on the couch with my bucket of ice cream under my arm, all alone, right? We feel ashamed, embarrassed, and isolated. But within this supportive community, you really are alone no more. I am also available and active all the time in the group for questions, encouragement, and support, right? So let me know. Do you believe you'd be successful if you had that professional accountability to keep you on your path between the coaching and the community, right? Type yes in the comments if this seems helpful to you, right? So now you can see what each of those 5 elements of the ultimate digestive freedom formula are, right? We will go over them real quick. Determining the root cause, the step-by-step instructions, a holistic approach, coaching calls, community, and accountability with the Facebook group, right? So I've found that this is the real winning combo, right? It ensures that you can get the results that you need. Those 5 ways that you can get to your own digestive freedom, right? So what would you prefer? The old way, where you've been trying unsuccessfully to get rid of all your gut symptoms, right? Like, taking meds or wearing the baggy clothes or skipping meals or going on crazy diets, right? Or the new way, where it's holistically, right? Clear direction, learning and growing while being held accountable, fully supported and in community, right? Which way do you think? The new way, right? Let me know in the chat, the old way or the new way. Thank you, guys. Yes. New way. Yeah. The old way, if it worked, that's what we pick, right? I know that was the way I like to do it, but nothing was working. So let's go through again the secrets that are going on here. Secret number 1, right? Quick recap. Treating the root cause is crucial to get rid of your gut issues for good. You discovered up to this point, you've been patching the symptoms of your problem, right? So we learned that the root cause, poor digestive function, underlying dysbiosis, right? Secret 2, seeing your own misconceptions and all those old ideas, right? The lies that you're telling yourself that were keeping you stuck in the problem. Things like you're going to have to eat in complicated ways, you're going to have to stay on meds forever, or you're too busy, too stressed. Health can't deal with that right now. Those ideas, right? That it's normal to have gut issues. You won't be able to stick to a new plan. Or the big one that I always used to say, oh, I'm sure that'll go away on its own eventually, right? So now that you understand why these ideas have really kept you from a solution, and most importantly, you now see that that's not really your fault to have those thoughts, right? We all feel like this. But overcoming these old ways of thinking is all part of our journey and growth. It's all a piece of the picture. Then secret 3, the discovery that I made that changed everything. It's super powerful because I walked you through like that exact method that I used and I do use today with all of my clients to get them to the freedom from the gas, bloating, indigestion, and all those other symptoms. So we looked at each of the 5 elements of the program and how they are instrumental in success over gut health issues, right? The 5 elements, quick recap: determine the root cause, have a step-by-step plan, use a holistic approach involving the body, mind, and spirit, having professional support, and finally, accountability and community, right? All needed. So you showed up here today because you want to end your gas and bloating. You want to get rid of the weight gain, right? But you don't want to have to keep giving up foods or be on complicated, hard to follow diets. You want to have a simpler way to feel better without having to take medication. You want to stop feeling alone, ashamed, insecure, and even like a prisoner to your symptoms. And you want to look and feel your best so that you can feel confident, energized, and alive, right? So at the beginning of the training, I made you a promise. I promised that by the end, I was going to show you how to shift from being a prisoner, right, to all of your symptoms. Shift to knowing exactly how to get rid of them for good so that you can take back control of your body, look and feel your best, and live the life you've always imagined for yourself. So here's the thing I want you to remember. Everything that I've shared with you today is not a random theory or some idea that hopefully, I think might work for you. Everything I walked you through today works, right? It worked for me. It has worked for my clients, And they've all started out from similar spots to where you're starting out from right now. I'm not special and they are not special, right? We all have busy lives, families, careers, a million things to do all day, every day, right? That pull us in all the directions. But if they can do it, and if I can do it, I am confident that you can do it too, right? You already know that you can achieve freedom from digestive discomfort as long as you have accountability and a plan, right? So you're halfway there already, to be honest with you. I just wanted to share with you some of the things that my clients have been experiencing inside the Ultimate Digestive Freedom Formula, right? Just take a quick skim there, right? Cravings gone, bloating gone, weight lost, right? The one there in the center, her name is Lisa. When she posted it, she was in her third week of the program and she was saying her need for meds was decreasing. But by the end of the program, she was 100% off her acid reducing medication. But this was, of course, under her doctor's support, right? I mean, like, I'm not going to tell anybody what to do with their doctor's prescriptions. I can guide you to getting off them, but that piece has got to be cleared by your doctor. That's not my job, right? Just to say. But Lisa got off her PPIs, and it was just amazing. She couldn't believe it because she'd been on them for so long. But for me, I love the feelings that the women report, right? That's what I love the most. The words like excited, motivated, inspired, right? I mean, it inspires me right back. It is amazing. Some of the foundational principles seem so easy, right? That a lot of the women who come into the program, they are amazed at the huge effect that they can have on their symptoms, right? Like bloating there for Shelley, reduced in just one day when she stopped doing something that she had always done before that she didn't know was contributing to the bloating, right? So being able to achieve regular digestion, right? That clear knowledge that this is now the new way of doing things because it works. I love that. Words like immense improvements in health and quality of life, never felt better. I mean, these are the things that women are experiencing inside the Ultimate Digestive Freedom Formula. And literally, you can too. So would you like me to help you get to digestive freedom? Type yes in the comments if you're into that, if you want me to help you get relief from all of those symptoms once and for all. Because now you have a choice, right? Yes, yes, yes. Oh, fabulous. Love it. Love your enthusiasm, ladies. That is the key, right? Amazing. So now you have a choice, right? You can continue to do more of what you're doing. Popping Tums like candy, hiding in baggy clothes, going on diets, or giving up foods and hoping that it works, even though it never has before. Or you can choose a simpler path and use the Ultimate Digestive Freedom Formula, which comes with a proven system and accountability so you can get to your goals, right? So the choice is yours. Throughout the webinar, you've heard me mention this program of mine, the Ultimate Digestive Freedom Formula. This is the program that, can help you achieve relief from your symptoms. Share more details. Amazing, Wendy. I'm on my way to that right now. This is what I want to do next, right? I want to make sure it's good with you. If I took a couple of minutes to share with you how I can give you this information. Let me know yes in the comments if that's cool with you, right? Because it's my job to make sure I give you the right information so that you can get the results without the struggle. And then I'm going to give you that free gift that I mentioned at the beginning of the training, okay? We're almost there, guys. Thank you for sticking with me for so long. Amazing. Okay, I got all the yeses. So I'm honored to be sharing this opportunity with you because the best way I can help you is by personally supporting each of you, right? There are so many different things we need to talk out. So what I've really done, be able to get to, the individualized questions about cost and the best way for me to support you, all of those things, is I've set aside some time over the next 2 or 3 days to speak with you personally about how I can best support you to apply the things that we discussed today so that you can get relief from your digestive symptoms, right? I do that with a call, and it's called the Digestive Freedom Discovery Call. So the best part is that in our 45-minute call, you get so much confidence because you can really get to see how this program would work for you, right? And I'm certainly not the only one doing this in the wellness space, right? There are lots of other people who are doing it, which is great. But I am the best at working with busy, high-achieving women who want to get rid of their embarrassing symptoms so they can get back to the life that they want to live, right? I focus on the gut healing and the microbiome. My approach is very, very specific, right? And I really have transformed my own life and countless of my clients' life. So here's what I want you to do next. Whoops. Oh, I just totally pulled up. There we go. This is the one. Hang on, guys. I messed up my slides here. Where are we? I need to get the link, copy the link. I'm going to put it in the chat here for you all. So you can use this link yourself. Here we go. Make sure I get that in there. There it is. Perfect. Though you can use that link to schedule your own 45-minute digestive freedom discovery call with me now, right? It really is the best way for you to get those specific questions answered that you have. So I want to show you what it's going to look like when you get over into it. Once you get into my online scheduler, the first thing that you notice is enter your time zone, right? Then the calendar will pop up showing you the available days and times that you can choose from. So once you choose your preferred day and time, fill in your name, the number you want me to call you on, and your email address. And after you schedule your call, you'll get an email confirmation right away. You don't see the link there? I just put it in. I'll pop it in again. Okay, host and panelists. That's why I think that I had the wrong settings there. Now I have it on everyone. Let me know, Ruth, if you can see that link now. That's what it was. I'm pretty sure that's why you couldn't see it. Brilliant. Amazing. Okay, great. Sorry about that. Oh my God, technicalities with the technicalities, right? All right, so, check your junk mail. After you make your appointment and you don't see an email confirmation, just pop over, check your junk mail, right? It may be in there. But in the email, there's an attachment that allows you to add the call to your online calendar if you use one, right? But if you don't use an online calendar, don't even worry about it. Just write it down wherever you keep your appointments if you have an old-fashioned calendar like I do, which I love. The calls are all done over the phone, so I contact you at the start of the call. It is easy peasy. So now that you've seen how to schedule the Digestive Freedom Discovery call, I want to cover just a couple of quick call specifics on the call, what we do, right? I'm going to help you get clarity around where you're at, what your challenges are, and then I offer you direction to move forward to create your own simple and personalized gut health plan so you can end your digestive system symptoms, and start to feel better without having to go on a diet, take loads of meds, or give up the foods you love, right? So basically we get clear on, your specific goal and why you want it, the obstacles and challenges that are derailing your success, how to handle the things in your life that are standing in your way, any self-sabotage that is happening. And this way, by the time the call is over, you will leave with helpful strategies that propel your success, right? And the important thing to know is that this call is 100% free. There is no obligation to do anything, to spend any money, to sign up for anything, right? You must be thinking, well, there's got to be some sort of a catch, right? You just told me all these ways that it's going to help me. So why is the call free? So first off, this call is free because this is my mission in life. This is why I do what I do. This is my passion, right? My life's work is to support busy women to get rid of their digestive problems in a way that doesn't involve doing the things that don't work, like taking meds and diets and foods, right? I hate that stuff. I've seen how it's damaged countless women and in my own life as well. And it is literally my mission now to change that, right? I have a core principle in my own business where I offer value first. If you have been in my world for any length of time, you know this is true. I love sharing resources, meals, challenges, all of the things, right? I love to give value. That is really what I want to do, right? I start off just by helping you with the webinar and with this call. I know that I can help you overcome some of the barriers that have been stopping you from achieving the results that you want with your gut health in a super short period of time, right? Now, secondly, I know that many of you who are listening want personalized support and accountability, right? If you're someone who knows that in order for you to succeed, you need that, then excellent, perfect. We can discuss that as well on the call and see if you're a right fit to come inside the program, right? The Ultimate Digestive Freedom Formula. And you know what? If not, if this isn't for you, that is completely okay. You still leave the call with so much value, clarity, and confidence. And of course, we part as friends, right? So there is a catch, really. If you're looking for a quick pill or a magic fix, then, this call is not for you. That is the only catch that I have for you today. This call is also not for you if you're not one to take personal responsibility for your success, right? If you're looking for a quick fix, if you're not patient with yourself, if you're not committed to treating that root cause that we talked about, and if you're not open-minded to a new way of doing things, right? It's not for you. But I know this system works, right? Sorry about that. I'll make sure I got my right slide up here. Yes. Okay. My clients are definitely committed to their goals, right? I want success so bad for the people that I work with. Let me tell you, you as well, but I'm not the only one to put in the effort. I 100% believe and know that when you commit to, the goals that the system has set up, then you do get to achieve success. The first step, though, has got to be that freedom discovery call, because that's where we get to determine what your next best steps are for you, for me, for the whole program, So if you're somebody who wants to be free from those symptoms and you're ready to commit to seeing what's next for you, then this call is for you, right? This call is also for you if you are ready to stop doing all those things that don't work, or the things that you think you should do, but just get rid of all that stuff and focus on a proven system that does work, right? You know that the road to success is not straight, but you are committed. You want to learn about the root cause and the holistic solution. You're coachable and you can ask for support and accountability. And you're tired of trying things that don't work and you're done getting short-term results. You are high achieving and success oriented. That's the kind of woman I work with, right? So if this is you, then you know what? Make sure you schedule your call right now, because those spots are limited. I don't have a call center doing this. I do all of my own calls myself. You and I are going to jump on the phone together so I can do my absolute best to support you, okay? So even if you've tried supplements or diets and nothing has worked, even if you don't have extra time or support, this does work, right? It will work for you because it's based on a proven set of step-by-step instructions that traditional methods don't use, right? So head over to your calendar, book your call, schedule it in, because there's really a very big difference between trying to figure it out on your own and working with an expert who has a track record of success, right? So that is enough out of me. I will stop my blathering on now. You guys have been amazing sticking with me for this whole time. It is now present time. So this is for you, my way of saying thank you so much for being here. I will pop the link in the chat there. This is the Gut Healing Program meal plan with shopping list and the full prep guide. My gift to you for committing to your digestive health and the life that you've always wanted to live. I'm putting that link there in the chat box. So you can either click the link and the PDF will automatically start to download on your computer, or you can even copy and paste it into a browser, whatever you like. If you have any issues with it, don't worry, no stress. Just email me, message me, reach out to me somehow, and I will make sure that you get it. Promise, 100%. But I really, really hope that you enjoy it. I'm really proud of this meal plan. It's a great way to hit reset on the gut and get your journey started, right? Just really get that ball begun. So it's time now to have a little bit of Q&A. I like to go over those big questions that people ask me. And if anybody has any other questions, they can pop them in the chat as well. So question number 1, do I call you or do you call me? So I call you, right? Once you booked your call in from that scheduling link that I've given you, then I've got your number, right? I've got the best number to reach you at and the time that you have chosen. So I call you. You don't have to do anything else but answer. The next question I always get is, well, I eat meat and I eat dairy and I also really love bread and I don't want to give them up. So should I still book a call? Oh, yes, you should, right? Remember, it is not the food's fault. So if you can heal your gut and rebalance that microbiome, then you're going to be able to digest foods from each food group properly. Now, just to touch on a note earlier, we have a woman here with us today, maybe more than one, right? More than one of you with celiac. When you've got a true allergy, those foods, very unlikely you can bring them back. It happens sometimes, I won't lie, but that's not what I'm saying here. I'm talking about food sensitivity. But if you have an allergy to shellfish, we're not going to get you on shellfish. Those things are different, right? That's a different concept. I just wanted to clarify that. But if you feel like, you're going to have to go gluten-free, dairy-free, all the things, no, that's not my approach, right? So just to let you know. Another question I really get all the time. I am so busy right now. Now, that's what I hear most commonly, to be honest with you, from a lot of the women that I talk with, and we talk about booking calls, right? So you should definitely book a call. Let me tell you, this is for you. Life is crazy busy. Things never really calm down, right? When we're busy and stressed, that is when our gut function gets impacted. It's one of the highest causes, one of the biggest reasons for gut issues. So it's better to be healthy, strong, and able to keep up when we're busy, right? If you're not going to look after your health, something is going to give. And that, like I said, most likely will be you, right? Remember Alicia, the businesswoman, the powerful executive that I worked with here in town? She had to take 3 months off work when her heartburn progressed into bleeding ulcers and a pre-cancerous condition, right? So she was waiting for life to calm down. But behind the scenes, inside, her health was getting worse and worse, right? This progression, not maybe, but will definitely happen to you too, right? Not exactly the way it happened to Alicia, because we're all individuals, right? But things consistently get worse. So wouldn't you rather get in front of your problems rather than letting them get in front of you, right? Here's another common one. I'm currently on a whatever diet, right? Like keto or Weight Watchers or intermittent fasting or whatever it is, right? Should I still book a call? Yes. In this call, we talk specifically about this. And I also suspect that if whatever this diet is that you're on was working for you, you probably wouldn't even be here today, right? So in the call, we can for sure discuss this. And using my method, you don't have to be on any type of a diet to get the results that you're looking for, right? Okay, guys, so we did it. Thank you so much for being here today. I am going to pop that Digestive Freedom Discovery Call link in the chat one more time just to make sure you have it. And like I said before, right, my mission, my purpose on this planet is to save the right people from having to experience what I did and give them a simpler way to achieve freedom from their gas, bloating, indigestion, weight gain, and all those other symptoms, right? So if you've already booked your call, I cannot wait to talk to you. This call is truly all about me being of service to you, right? And if we both agree that you're a right fit and that this is a good option for you, then we can discuss what that looks like for sure. But either way, you will get so much out of our time together. You will get clarity, you will get next steps, you will get a real sense of what it is that you need to do. So I'm really looking forward to talking with you. Yes, no worries at all. No worries at all. Send an email away. Any way you want to, touch base with me is amazing. And you're very, very welcome. Amazing. Thanks for being here, Wendy. So really looking forward to talking with you all. Book in for the call. We will chat. Bernice, yes, I'll talk to you by email for sure. Looking forward to that. And I just want to thank you all again so much for spending this time with me. I have gone like 20 minutes over my time. I've got to find a way not to talk so much, but I get really excited and passionate about this subject. So please bear with me. Anyways, thank you again, everybody. And we will talk soon. All right. Take good care. Oh, thanks, Bernice.